Totally.
You ready? We're going to get started, and you guys got here on time, so I want to honor that. I want to start off by introducing myself. I'm Josh McClain. I'm the head counselor here at the high school. I'm Zach's counselor. Zach and I have been together here for the last 4 years. So I wanted to do a little bit of introduction about him, and then I also wanted to kind of check in with you guys. We're going to try to tailor this presentation towards why you guys are here. So I wanted to hear a little bit from you guys about what you're hoping to hear from tonight, what brought you here, and maybe we can make sure we get those questions answered. So a little bit about Zach. Zach is one of my most academic students. He'll be pushing for valedictorian, so he's amazing academically, which is nice. That part's great. But he's probably, don't take this the wrong way, he's probably the best student I've had in my 16 or 17 years in terms of coming out of high school and going on to the next level with a purpose and a passion, and really starting that at like the freshman, sophomore level. When he's done with high school now, he has a direction, and he's done that in a way that has prepared him so much. For example, you hear people talk about the successful way to get into big colleges. You get good grades, yes. You get good test scores, yes. What else? What's that third thing? You know, how many clubs do you join? How many sports do you play? In the old days, it was like, let's say if I can be a part of every club on campus. And now they're saying what they really want is, how can you add to our university? How can you coming to our school not just be right for you, but be right for us? And if we look at schools as not the end destination, but as the next, kind of the next part of you taking off to be who you want to be, and how they can help along that journey. And so Zach's going to kind of talk about his story of how, sophomore, junior year, he kind of transformed and changed his vision from, hey, I want to go to Stanford, hey, I want to go to UCLA, to, wow, that's what I always thought. Now this is what I really want to do, and all my energy is going towards that. So he's got a lot to say. He's been in my office, oh gosh, this has been a journey for us for 2.5, 3 years. And it seems like every time he's in my office, we talk for an hour. And so he's got a lot to say. I'm going to do my best to be quiet and let him do it. This is his dad, Mr. Benetatos. He's going to be speaking a little bit towards the parent side of any questions you guys may have. With that said, what brings you guys here tonight?
This guy dragged me in. Yeah, he said we gotta go, so
okay.
Check it out.
What were you hoping to hear from tonight?
To study abroad in Italy.
Study abroad in Italy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously right down his alley. What about you guys?
He actually came into my Auburn class and
Okay.
spoke about it, and that was really interesting about it. I just really want to know more about it, and I study abroad in like Europe and stuff.
Okay. And then,
Okay, I came here because I went to one of his career study little presentations and I liked it. I was wondering if it could be a possibility.
I could tell you this is not for everybody. It would be, but Zach's going to speak to shorter term ones, to semester ones, to year long ones, all sorts of things. But I can tell you, this guy is prepared for his next step, unlike any of my other students. And so with that, I'm just going to kind of be quiet, and I'll let Zach take the mic. And then afterwards, when he's done, I know Mr. Benetatos is going to maybe take some questions from you guys, and then we'll hang out as much as you want and just kind of make it real informal and talk to you guys and go from there. Okay? All yours, Zach.
Thank you so much, Mr. McClain, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. So like I said, I really want this meeting to be geared towards you guys, because you guys are really the students who are interested in doing this, and you obviously found that you would fit in this whole group to sort of study abroad and go outside of your comfort zone, and that's already a next step. So I just want to let me just stop this. This might be a little distracting. I want to make a few things clear to you, that I'm not trying to sell a program. I'm not trying to sell anything. EF doesn't give me any money whatsoever. I wish they did, but no, just kidding. But I'm doing this because after spending my junior year abroad in Italy, it really opened up my perspectives to so many new things, so many new cultures, and most importantly has given me the skill set and the confidence to take on unknown, unstructured challenges within the world of academia, but also within the world of, the professional business world, the professional world, how it is every single day. Just go on to the next slide. Why study abroad? So, why do you guys want to do it? Let me just hear. Think it'll be fun. Do you want to? What do you want to achieve by studying abroad?
I've just always been wanting to travel and learning new things. So.
Nice. And you?
Same.
Same for
Don't
you.
like it here.
Don't like it here. That's a good reason to want to study abroad. And what's up, Nathan? What do you think?
So for the experience and like put myself out there for new, like just what else is out there in the world and what I really want to do. That's my life.
Good.
Just go outside your comfort zone and travel. I don't travel too much.
Nice. So, everything you guys said either had to deal with traveling, either had to deal with putting yourself out there, making a difference, and these are the exact things that you could possibly achieve when you study abroad. You'll find your passion. The biggest problem I'd say with high school students is us figuring out what do we want to do with our lives after high school. What do we want to study in college? That's something that some of my peers were talking about for so long. Like, okay, do I go into art or should I do science? My parents want me to do this. What do I do? What's my passion? What do I want to do? By studying abroad, this was one of the aspects that really helped me in deciding the direction of where I wanted to go. Most importantly, also, you're going to start networking. This is something that I cannot stress how important it is. By networking within people, within your classmates that you're going to have over there, they're going to help you out for new future experiences, not just at that time, but when you come back. I always say to a lot of students who ask me, was it scary living with a stranger, living with a family that you didn't know? And I would say in the beginning, when you wake up that next morning, I still remember, I was so afraid to, this is gonna sound really dumb, but I was afraid to open the fridge. And because I was like, this is not my house. This is not, I'm just gonna sit down and wait for them. And I was scared to even get out of my room. And by the end of 1 year, me and my host family, we just sort of got along and we just sort of matched perfectly. They took me on so many trips around Italy and around their hometown. They really, really loved me and we became a family. In fact, they're actually coming back for my high school graduation all the way from Italy. This is more specific. Now, I addressed your guys' points of, why study abroad? This is just something that's in your mind right now. Now I'm going to go more specifically into what has study abroad brought to me. So those things are, one of the major things was gaining admission to my top choice college. Now, I will be a student at Hult International Business School in London, and I will be studying business. But most importantly, what study abroad helped me do was receive two very prestigious scholarships that were worth $11,000 every year and renewed every single year at the school. So with a 4-year education, that totaled out to $44,000 in scholarships. So a big reason I think that holds people back from studying abroad and makes people just think like, oh my gosh, that's too expensive, we're not doing it, no, is the price tag of it. And so let me just break it down a little bit. I'm going to cut that straight to the point of my experiences, what we went through. So the price tag for 1 year was $16,000, okay? Now, this price was including my school, my course materials, my food, 3 meals a day, my lodging. And I'd just like to say, within a year, that works out to $45 a day, okay? $45 is a Starbucks, and you know, if you go out to lunch with your colleagues every day, you know. So for that $45 a day that we invested, it was such an investment, okay? It equaled to $44,000 in scholarships. So we got all of our money back. And not only that, but I'm also a candidate and a finalist for one of their other scholarships, which covers full tuition. So that's full ride. And that equals to $250,000 in scholarships. So those are really the key aspects, I think, when people think of, okay, what does studying abroad take, and what is my investment going to get? It's not just going to get you a trip, and it's not just going to get your son or daughter a fun experience. It's getting them so much more than just that. This is a picture of my lovely host family that I stayed with for 1 year in Rimini, Italy. And then these were some of my best friends that I made when I was there. His name is Arnau. He's from Barcelona, Spain. I still talk with him, you know, every single week. And Clara from Vienna, Austria. And the cool thing about this was they were my classmates. And, you know, I wasn't just learning Italian when I was there, but I was learning parts and little parts of their language as well, because we were sitting together, we made friends, we decided to, you know, hang out after school. And one of the questions that I got asked in the beginning of my presentation was, how long did it take you to learn the language? How long did it take you to become fluent? And the answer to that was, it took me 3 months. It only took me 3 months. Because the ability and the way you're learning is so different than just the classroom environment. So if you're taking Spanish, if you're taking French, yeah, that's great. But what you could learn 3 years in a classroom, you could learn 3 weeks over there, just by living there, by feeling the experiences. And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about, a little bit about my school and how it all went down. Let me just explain and make it clear that there's so many different, there's so many different organizations you can go with, okay? And I'm here to talk about EF because it's the organization that I went with. It was the organization that was right, you know, for my family. It was just what worked out. And I'm going to tell you guys what makes EF really such a great program. And one of the things is they're the language sponsor of the Olympic Games. So they're the official language provider, and they have been in the past for the Olympic Games. And 2, they have over 13 schools around the world where they can choose from. So where the students are able to choose from, and where the students are able to go if they want to go. And this is just basics. You're going to get your high school credit or college credit. This is something I spent a lot of time talking with Mr. McLean about. Your intentions of going, it really depends on how long you go. So if you're gone for a year, yeah, you're going to miss out on maybe taking the classes that your other peers are taking. But if you're the type of kid to aim and shoot for this and going abroad, then you should really be on your track academically. So meaning that you're not struggling, you're not behind in classes. If you're on track with your classes, and if you're doing your job as a student, we can make it work. And by making it work, I'm meaning, yeah, they can give you college credit too. If you feel like you're ready to take on college classes, that you want to take that whole AP, so you feel like when you come back from this experience, you don't want to be behind of your peers. 1, you're already going to be ahead of your peers by experiencing this. But 2, you're going to be ahead even in credits, even with college credits that can help make college a little bit cheaper too.
Zach, just to make it real clear, when he came back, it's not like he was anywhere in jeopardy at all about being behind in credits. He gets credits over there. We also talked to him about how you kind of did some of your credits beforehand prepping for it.
Yes, so this is something that I knew I wanted to do the beginning of my sophomore year. So I did have a little bit of an extra time to plan, to do those things. And I did take, it was AP English and AP US History. So there's different online schools you could choose from. I chose them because they were the one that offered the AP classes online. Not a lot of online schools offer that. But you can make it work, whether you do a class over the summer. I know one of your fellow classmates, you know, did classes over the summer too. It can really, really make a difference, and you're not going to be behind in credits. In fact, I'm actually, for those who don't know, I'm actually graduating this January. So I was so, you know, I created my schedule to my senior year where the classes that I was meeting, the requirements I was meeting, was all being met to where I could even graduate early, and I could have an extra semester where I could be doing other things, where I could be doing my internship, which I'm going to talk to you about too, and where I could be getting money at a job, or investing my time in different areas that are going to help me for my future. Like I said, why EF? This is something, again, most people ask me, most students ask me, okay, I'm thinking about this program, I'm thinking about that program, which one should I choose? Definitely EF, because EF is the only study abroad organization in the world that offers the experiential learning and their exclusive methodology of learning. So this is something that's really cool, because when you're in school with EF, you're learning a lot of time outside of the classroom. One of my classes, this was my second week I got there, we all got a grocery list of items that we needed to get in the store, okay? Now me, at the time, I was so scared because I barely knew any Italian, and I was reading the list, and it was more like, instead of, let's say I had to get an apple, I had to get a pear, I had to get a drink. So in Italian it would be, posso avere una bevita e anche una mela e anche una pera, per favore, grazie mille. But in my second week there, of course I can't do that. So I was like, in my American accent, posso avere una mela, una pera, una... So those are the little experiences, you guys, that are really, really how you're gonna learn. You just gotta throw yourself out there and jump into this. Like Mr. McLean was saying in the beginning, some people missed it, but he said that it's not for everyone. You know, it is scary. It's not easy to hop off a plane and know, okay, this is where I'm gonna be for a year. I'm away from my family, I'm away from my school, I'm away from my friends. So it's not for everybody, but that's how you learn, and that's how I became fluent in the language, was the experimental learning. I want to make it clear that just because I went abroad for a year doesn't mean that that's the only option for you. You could go abroad for a semester, you could go abroad for a summer, you could go anywhere from 2 weeks to 52 weeks. Anywhere that suits you and your schedule. Maybe, you know, you play sports on this campus and you want to, you know, still be in school but just do a summer thing. You could do that, and you can still be in school, and you can still be having those classmates. Now obviously, can I guarantee the whole immersion aspect of having a host family you'll talk to for the rest of your life, this, that, in 2 weeks? Probably not. So the whole immersion aspect, if you're looking for a fun time, then yeah, 2 weeks, amazing, do it. But if you're looking for the whole, you know, you want the scholarships, you want the this, you want the that, you need to spend a little bit of more time there, meaning a semester or a year, to really get the whole immersion aspect. Because the first few weeks, I'd say, I was always taking pictures. From the moment I walked out of the door, I was just like a tourist. I was like, okay, I'm going to school. I'm gonna send a video of me going to school. You know, I have a YouTube account where every single week I've documented my experience abroad, okay? And another thing is by the end of my experience, by the end of my year, I wasn't taking pictures every day. It wasn't that I was not impressed or bored or anything. It was because I felt like I was home. And that's when you know that you're immersed. That's when you know that you've really lived there. That you weren't just a tourist, that you weren't just someone that passes by. When you know that when I go back to Italy this January, because I'm going back, I can still walk into that same store and I can still see the same people, and they'll remember me. That's something that you can't even even imagine. Words can't describe the amount of importance of making those relationships and knowing that you'll always have those friends, you'll always have that family, you'll always have that school. You know, there's teachers that I still speak to now. Just, it's amazing. I want to keep it clear that when you go, it's not just a trip. You're getting your transcripts. You're getting your program diploma after you finish your EF program. And if you decide to opt for those university credits or those college classes, you're going to be getting those transfer credits too, since they are an accredited institution. This is where I get excited, because I get to talk about school, okay? Now I understand everybody doesn't like school, depends, you know, but what do you guys think of when you think of school? Okay, that's an answer. What do you think about when you think of school? What do you like?
Work.
Work? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of work.
A lot of work. What about you?
Me?
You, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you, okay. I think of it as like a social like gathering for my friends. I like school.
That's okay. That's good. And you? What do you like about school? You don't like school? Yes, you're the answer that I was looking for. Because the EF schools are so different, meaning that they're designed to make you feel confident, engaged, and inspired. Obviously, our school is too. Every school is. But the amount of resources that you're able to get and the things like that, they're a little bit different. Meaning the classes that they offer are completely different. I was in world religion, I was in law, I was in philosophy. I took a variety of electives and special interest classes which again helped me decide my major, what I wanted to study in college. But more importantly, it added an extra realm of an education that was geared towards arts and culture, that was geared towards professional development, that was really narrowed down into what I wanted to do. That's something that's really, really great, because you're not just going to be in a math class, you know? You're going to be in a class, a language learning class. I want to make it clear that every single class you are taking in that country is in that language. So if you're going to Spain or Italy or somewhere, every single one of those classes are going to be taught in Spanish and Italian. So it is hard in the beginning, and the school knows that. They're not going to give you an F just because you only know how to say 5 words. They ease you into it, and the teachers know that you're an exchange student, obviously. So they ease you into the process. The EF homestay, the host family, is what I always recommend and what I always say is the best option because it's free. The EF homestay, there's no additional cost. You're living with a host family, you're living with another family that is basically adopting you for the amount of period that you're there, and they become your second family. And this is what I really recommend. But if the idea of living with another family doesn't really excite your parents or doesn't really suit you, you can always stay at the school campus itself. You can always stay at the EF campus. The EF campus, this is an example of their boarding options at Oxford in England, and you can stay at the school and have roommates from different countries in the world. You could also even opt up to the EF residence, which is you have the swimming pool, you have the spa, like now you're going up the level, you know? Or you could even have your own apartment with some friends. This is if you go in a group, you know, if you go with other people from your sports team or your after school club, you guys can get an apartment together and go there. Like I said, these are at an additional price. So this one's you pay a little bit more for. But I totally recommend the homestay because there's no additional price, it's free, and you can have a second host family that you can always visit when you come back. This is something that no other study abroad organization can provide, and this is the online MyEF. With this, you're able to know your classmates, your future classmates, your future teachers, your future, you know, what's going to be in your city, where you're going to be living, everything before you hop on that plane. This is great for parents as they have their sense of security. Okay, I know where I'm sending my kid. 24/7, I have someone to call. If I need to get in contact with my son or daughter for any reason, I just dial this phone number and there'll be somebody to pick up the phone. This is something that's really, really, really great. because it offers the fast track, so you're able to track your progress while you're there. So you're able to see where you started out with week 1, and then week 2, week 3. Okay, now I'm learning more words. Now I'm achieving my goal of ultimately becoming becoming bilingual or trilingual for those who already know a second language. This is a big thing, and the after is the biggest, because the most important thing is a lot of people, when they learn a language in college and high school, they forget it because they don't use it. With EF, you don't forget the language because you have access to all of the lessons you've just done. You have you're allowed to keep learning even when you're back home. That's why I didn't lose my Italian. That's why I'm still fluent. I still talk to my host family. I still talk to my friends. But it's this, that every once in a while I'll watch a movie in Italian, so it keeps me up to date with my language skills, so I never lose it. This is again just elaborating on the short term for those who, I don't know, who wants to do what, or even if you want to do something like this. But this is if you're doing a short term, you can definitely choose to do, like I said, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever works for you in your schedule. The Academic Year Abroad program, this again is available in 7 different languages worldwide, meaning Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Italian, German, Spanish, and the last one being
French.
Thank you. Yes, French. So you could go to France. And this is, again, you can choose different types of studies you want to do. EF is really great at deciding your program because it's you that decides it. It helps them out so much because they ask you, what do you want to achieve by the end of your stay with our school? Do you want to become fluent? Are you doing this for an exam? They have adults that are also at their school, but they're not going to be in class with your students. Companies around the world are sending their employees to go learn languages with EF, and every single client is able to achieve their own goal. So what's your goal? To earn credits for high school, to have an amazing experience. EF can provide all of those things. And even specifically, if you want to go to fashion design, they have classes that are geared towards fashion design, but in that language. It's not in English, so don't expect, if you're in Paris or whatever, wanting to do fashion design, you're going to do those classes in French. This is something, for those who want to go to Harvard and Yale and have these big, one language isn't enough for me, I want to do 2, I want to do 3. This is something that's even bigger and better than what I did. This is the multi-language year. They guarantee you can choose 2 or 3 languages that you will become fluent in within the course of 1 year. So you're able to choose where you want to go on this world map. They put you in their EF school, and you're achieving all of your credits. And the thing is since they're all EF schools, you're not going to have the same adjustment process. You're not going to be lost from where you left off. So it's really, really great. You plan it out. Spin classes, this is what's meaning by the spin classes. They offer, the longer you're there, the more opportunities you have for internships and volunteer experiences while you're there as well, which again, help for college apps. That's just how it is. Destinations. This is where I'm going to talk about where you could possibly go. So this is usually where the students or your children get really excited. For those who want to learn Spanish and perfect their Spanish skills, maybe you've taken Spanish at our school for 2 years already. That's great. With my EF, like how I was talking about, you're going to take a placement test, which means that they're going to place you in a class where students like you scored the exact same. So you're mixed with people that are beginners, or if you already speak another language that you just want to become better, they'll place you in an intermediate or even advanced class. So Spain, you could go to 3 of the most international cities in Spain, being Madrid, the capital, Malaga, Barcelona. Barcelona is really nice because they have the beach. And then even for those who want the off the beaten path, the more adventurous, they could even go to Costa Rica. Really beautiful. Obviously, I'm just a tad bit biased, but I say the best place to go is Italy. Italy, they have a campus in Rome, and you're living in the capital of one of the most old but innovative cities in the world. I mean, Rome is where it all happens, so it's really amazing. France, you could be in Paris, or you could even be in Nice. Now, for those who don't know what Nice is a city that's on the border between France and Italy. So you're gonna have a little bit of both languages. You're gonna have a lot of Italians there. So, but if you want to learn French, it's a great option, and it's really, really good, especially in the summertime, because there's gonna be a lot of tourists. There's a lot of fun things to do. For those who even want to learn German, that's an option with the EF too. You can go to Munich, or you can even go to Berlin, which again has so much history. For those who want to go even farther than Europe, you could choose to go to Asia. And EF just opened their new campus in Shanghai, China. So you can learn Chinese, you can learn Mandarin, which is again a business language, great for the future. It's basically going to become, in my opinion, I think that Chinese is going to become the language that people are going to speak. If you think about it, it's all about the Chinese now. Japan, you could go to Tokyo, which is an international city, and the EF school, in fact, is in the crossing, the does anybody know if I'm pronouncing this right? Shibuya? You know the crossing, the Shibuya crossing, and it's the main crossing in the city. Your classroom will be in a building. You'll be able to look outside the classroom and see one of the most touristic sites. I just want to make it clear that their schools are very, very, very nice. Like I said about the Olympics, EF is working with the Olympics. And in return, EF now has a brand new school that they're opening this January, and it is EF Seoul. So you're able to learn Korean, which I think no school, especially in California, no school in California is able to provide Korean at their school. So if you want to learn something that's out of the box of a language, learn Korean with EF. And they just have this new school available too. For those who really want to look into different stories of different kids, not just myself, I am at their same school. I'm a senior here at Apple Valley High School. I'm graduating this January. But they can also hear more from other students at www.ef.edu/blog. And I passed them out to a few guys. I have these newspapers that they provided me since I finished the program. Every month I'm able to see what they're doing. So they're talking about, there's Costa Rica, and they're talking about Get to Know Madrid. EF does a really good job at making sure that while you're there, you're not lonely, you're not missing home. You could ask, my dad's here to answer any questions when it comes to the parents' perspective, but he has a cough, so he had a big speech planned, but unfortunately he can't speak that much because of his cough. But every single day there's so much to do. I mean, on a Monday, the list is this long of activities you could choose from. In the city, outside the city, what you're doing. They do a really good job at making sure that you're never bored, you never feel homesick, and they do a good job at not wanting you to even come back home. And I mean this at no offense, but my dad knows that coming back, it was harder for me to come back home than it was for me to go. And at the end of the day, I do know that thanks to this experience, it's brought me a new family that loves me, a new set of friends, a new set of teachers, but mainly a new outlook and new perspective on things and just on life in general. And I'm really, really thankful and grateful for that I had done this experience, and I'm looking forward to helping you guys and wanting you guys to do this experience as well. Thank you.
What did you first go?
So,
Senior year?
all right, so I'm a senior right now that I'll be graduating this January. So this program didn't put me behind in classes or anything. I left for an entire year. I came back and I achieved so many credits and elective credits by doing this that I'm graduating this January.
Then you could not even have to go this year. You have enough credits.
Yeah. So.
And to touch on that as well, not only does he have enough credits, And he chose this international school for his college choice, but he would have been a fantastic candidate for all the big schools. In fact, I believe, and this is where I'm a little disappointed, he was so excited to say, this is where I want to go, that's pretty much all he did. I wish he would have put his name in the hat for some of the other schools too, because I think he would have gotten in over my number 1 student, my number 2 student, my number 3 student, because I think his unique experience is what the big colleges are after. They're looking for that complete package, and it's so hard to figure out what your passion is and what that is, and I think he's done that. Like this isn't fake. This is his whole life. This is who he's become, and that's what the colleges are looking for, that third component of, yes, you've got good grades, yes, you've got good test scores, but what else? What is you? Why are you so special? And I think that's what kind of this program's turned him into.
So if this is for you, if this is something that you think that you're really interested in doing and you want to secure your spot, EF is giving the opportunity tonight to give a $200 discount towards your tuition, and I just want to make it clear that to secure your spot, it's $195, and it just secures your spot in that classroom, okay? And EF doesn't have an additional charge for payment plans. So if for your family it works out to pay across an entire year or even 14-month, 15, 16, 17, 18-month payment schedule, there's no additional charge with EF. And I just want to make it clear too that that $200 discount can be used as excursion credits as well, can be used as sort of your activity credits. So with EF, it seems like every weekend they're going somewhere. So you can go, even though you're in Italy, I just want to make it clear, or you're in wherever you are, you're going to be going on trips outside the city, outside the country, outside, where you are. And some of those are free, some of the city ones, but obviously the longer distance ones, the weekend trips, those have an additional cost, but you could use what EF is giving you tonight to sort of pay for those and scatter them out what you want to do for how long you're there. If you still need to think about it, take some time to think, that's okay, because EF is still giving $100 discount if you sign up by tomorrow. And then if you still need a little longer to think, by this weekend, if you sign up just with that $195, they'll give a $75 discount as well. And if this is something that studying abroad makes you a little scared, or maybe you don't think you're ready for it, a teacher on our campus, and he's an amazing teacher because I worked with him my sophomore year in starting another EF program, is offering a educational tour, which is just a 2-week trip in Europe. They're going to Rome and Athens this year. So let me just make it clear that this is a trip, okay? So this is just, you're not in school, you're not getting credits, it's just a trip where you have a fun experience. But this is more of the whole immersion aspect where you're getting those credits, you're living in the host family. Here, there's no host families. It's just you're in hotels. But if you're interested, and if this sounds like something that's more feasible for you, or maybe that's geared towards your personalities, you could sign up for our school's EF tour. So our school has been on tours, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, France. Every year our school is trying to get more international.
You traveled a lot with your host family, but EF takes you just as many
Yes, EF, let me just make it clear too, EF is also in the United States, and they have a lot of schools in the US. They have one in Boston, San Diego, Long Beach, a lot in California, a lot in Florida, Miami. They have some in Hawaii. So if you go on their website, you're able to see their list of schools. They have over 500 offices and schools, okay, around the world. And for example, the EF campus in San Diego, what do they do with their students? They take them to Vegas, they take them to different places that you can sign up to go. So there's always something on the calendar. There's an office inside the school that's just the activities office. So they're in charge of planning all of the activities. And I believe it says there too that if you have an idea or a place that you want to go, EF can make that happen. So let's say you have a group of friends in one of your elective special interest classes, that you think would be great for you guys to go to Milan to learn more about fashion, and EF can help set that up for you. So you're not alone. So you don't need to think, and I just want to make it clear from the parents' perspective, for the $45 a day that it cost us, it included also the medical insurance, okay? So I was insured medically if something were to happen to me, the 24/7 support. So that gave my parents confidence in knowing that if something happens or if they need to communicate with me, they could just pick up the phone, dial the number, and somebody's there to answer. Are there any more questions? Again, this is all about you guys. Even if it's not about this, if it's about college or things like that, I want to help you guys. So if you have any questions.
That you have no part of it.
Yeah, I just want, again, my dad doesn't work for EF. It's totally separate realm of things. So I don't have family members that work for EF. I'm not getting paid from EF. All I'm trying to do is sort of share my experiences, how it's helped me get into the college I wanted to get into, and how it can possibly help you guys as well. Test scores aren't my thing. Don't think I'm a genius. I'm not good at tests. I'm really bad. So, but I think that with this experience, it did make me stand out a lot. Any other questions, concerns? Again, this is, my dad can help answer some questions from a parent's perspective. Any advice?
Zach, why don't you speak to maybe the next step from here? Because if I'm sitting here with my son or daughter and I'm hearing this deal and I got to go home and talk to my wife and try to figure out the whole, how does this work? How do I wrap my head around the possibility of sending my kid for a semester, for a year? Where should they be going, or what kind of maybe timeline are they looking at to make some decisions?
Okay, I just want to make it clear that I started the beginning of my sophomore year. Okay, so obviously there were a lot of hoops and things that we had to discuss. You know, there's never been a student at Appleback High School to study abroad, especially for a year. So it was hard for us. But it's something that does take time. Since I've gone through it and since we did it, it's going to be a lot shorter for you guys. So you're not going to have to go through, you know, those little hoops and meetings. But I want to make it clear that the EF classes do fill up quickly. Okay? So you're able to start, I want to make it clear too that you're able to start your course on any Monday. Okay? So you can start your course in January, or even in August in the beginning of the school year, or in September. Whatever works for your schedule is when you can do your time with EF and study abroad. And as far as the timeline goes, you guys are obviously the most interested students because you've been to my presentation like 4 times. You know, you've heard Nathan's been always like interested. So I'm gonna take the really, really interested students and we're gonna work on fundraising together, meaning that I'm gonna help you guys really realize if one kid does bake sales or bakes some cookies to sell, that's a way of doing it, but that's not gonna get you much. But if you have a group of 10, 5, or even just you guys, if this is something you're really interested in doing, we could team up and do even a bigger fundraiser. Now we're looking at more money and we could just split the money between you guys to help fund your study abroad experience. So that's a way of doing it too. I'm gonna take the interested kids and I'm gonna say, okay, let's work together. This is how you guys can do it. My timeline though is a little bit rough, meaning I leave this January. So that's why I'm trying to do all these study abroad meetings, especially with our school during this time, because once I leave, obviously my hope is for you guys to do it and then come back and then help more kids from Apple go and study abroad. But other than that, it's just gonna die here, and that's not what I want. I feel like I have a responsibility to keep it going, you know? So as far as the timeline goes, to answer your question more specifically, I hope I did. The timeline of things, I'm gonna be available here from now until January. January, I'm back on the plane going to Italy. I'm gonna be there for 6 months. I have an internship working for a company. And so I'm gonna be living with the same host. This is something that's really cool because I'm not going in an apartment. I'm living with the same exact host family that I did with my EF experience. So we had such a good relationship that when I sort of opened the door and I said, hey, I was looking at this internship, they didn't even think twice. They said, our house is your house. You're always going to be like a son to us, and you can always come back. Come back to us.
I think the unique experience too that Zach can provide that really he didn't have the privilege of having is him. So in the next couple of months, if you guys are really feeling like pushing this a little bit further, you've got him to bounce ideas off of. And just because he goes away in January doesn't mean he's not reachable.
Oh yeah, no. I'm really good with emails. I take about 5 minutes to respond. I'm really good. I'm always on my computer. So Mr. McLean knows. Even when he sends me an email, I'm back. How many minutes did it take
Pretty
me?
quick. And we communicated a decent amount while you were in Italy.
Yeah. You know, I sent him what I was doing, and you know, just the little things. And your counselor that you guys are working with, and the thing is now since I did it, Mr. McLean is able to say to your counselor, hey, this is something that's good for them. This is not something that it's just a vacation and that's it. They're actually learning. They're actually going to do an experience, and it's going to help them get into college.
Yeah, and see, we've already kind of went through all the rough spots of trying to figure this out. So moving on from here, the next kid that does it, it'll be easier. And most of you guys, if you're sophomores, juniors, you have a different counselor, but I would probably be involved.
Yeah.
Just because, well, I'm the head counselor, but also we've done this already.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm going to do when I have a question is I'm going to call Zach.
But this is, even if I get one of you guys to go and do this, I'm gonna feel so happy. I wish I could have all of you guys do it, because it was such an amazing experience. It's changed me. I came back more mature. I came back more. This is something that my dad can even answer any questions from the parents' perspective. But
Yeah, that child, if you look at it as an investment, if your child just wants to go and have a good time, and you know your child, if you know that they're just, you know what, they just want to leave, have a good time, it's going to cost me this much money, they're going to come back and not do anything with it, then don't even take the next step. But if your child, if you know they're going to go to a college and they don't have that extra bump to get to the college that they want to, this is a great bump. And they're going to come back, a different person. I guarantee you they're going to come back a different person. They're going to be more mature because you're getting them out of their environment. Right now, they see the same people in class, they come to the same house, you're in the same family, you're the same person. When you live with somebody else, or you go across the world and you're by yourself, and you're put on the spot, you have to make decisions yourself, it's impossible not to change. And it makes them more mature. And when they come back, you're gonna be like, who is this person? Like this, you know, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're 17 and you act like you're 25. You know, you're not 17, come back acting like you're 14. So, and like, you know, some of you came late. I sent them for a year. It cost me $16,000. That was a huge investment. It took us about a year and a half to try and work it out, you know what college you want to go to. He wants to go to all Ivy Leagues, okay? He's working. That's my investment. That's what I work for. He's worth it. I don't mind putting the money in to get him to go to those colleges. So he said, look, you're not going to be good on SAT because he's not a good test taker. So schools look at SATs. And he has friends that had perfect SATs, 5.0, everything on the books perfect, didn't get into those Ivy League schools because everybody going to those Ivy League schools are top of the top of the top of the top. So just because you're the top doesn't mean you're automatically going to get it. So you need to go in a different route. You need to go through the back door instead of the front door. So his back door is study abroad, becoming more mature, networking, meeting other people. I mean, he met the Prince of Qatar, the son
of the yeah.
So the son's like,
the
hey,
networking that I'm talking to you guys about.
Come to my castle, whatever. He's got lions and tigers and Lamborghinis.
He has Lamborghinis, tigers. It's crazy, you guys. Your classmates.
He's like, I'll send the jet to come pick you up. You come anytime you want. I mean, who can say that they can call up the Prince of Qatar and say, hey, come pick me up in Apple Valley Airport and we're going to be in Qatar for this weekend. I mean, just that investment, the $16,000 investment, first of all, we got back his 2 scholarships, $11,000 a year. So that's 44. I got my $16,000 back plus. And with those 2 scholarships, he got to be able to apply for another scholarship, which is a full ride, which the college he's going to is $56,000 a year. So if he gets that second scholarship, that's $250,000. So my $16,000 just turned into $250,000.
And that's not even counting what's going to happen at the end of the senior year when he's applying for these local scholarships too, because he's going to be able to tell such a cool story and write these cool essays for all these local businesses that are trying to give $500, $1,000.
They all add up,
I will
you
be
guys.
shocked if he doesn't get more money than just about anybody else.
But honestly, I mean, the money's a huge part. We're not rich by any means. We're not, we're not millionaires. But honestly, the way he came back and his passion and the school that he got into, that was his first choice school he got in, that to me, and to see how he is, just even tonight, the way he talks, he didn't talk like this 2 years ago. He was a kid. I mean, he was 15 years old. Now, even though he's 17, I know 20 years old that don't act like him. So he's on a different level, and I'm so proud of him. So, and this is all because I feel, and he knows, that because of his study abroad and being immersed in a different culture, and like I said, he was in Italy, but he dealt with kids from all over the world. He met the prince's son from Qatar.
So I just want to say too, there's sacrifices you guys need to make, like as for your parents too. Like me, I told my dad, I said I don't want a car. I said this is my car. Like study abroad is my car because literally it's bringing me.
That was part of the discussion. Like, look, we're gonna put $16,000, and I gotta pay for this, and I gotta pay for your college, and you're gonna be getting a car pretty soon. He's like, you know what? A car's not important to me. My education is first. I said I agree with you, and I'm glad your mindset is that way. As soon as he said that, I knew it wasn't. I don't want to say a scam, because kids are going to try and work you any way they can to get what they want. But at least he was willing to give up a huge chunk, which I was going to buy him a car anyways. So of course I would rather put the car into his education.
And this was more than a car. I felt like this was one of those, like in those movies, like this was my Batmobile, because it got me into the school I wanted to get into. It brought me so much more, and it was an investment. So if there's anybody that wants to really just talk one-to-one, even if you are interested in that $200 activity credit or that discount that you're going to be getting just by putting your name down and sending it to EF, you can come see me after before you guys leave. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.